what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is good as always. I'm always great, man. We're talking football, and it always makes the day go that much better. But we're talking trending players, who's hot, who's not, as we are getting closer to training camp. And we got to understand, man, everything is fluid at this point. Players will go down with injuries. Teams will add players. But we got to understand where these guys sit today, especially in terms of fantasy football and where they reside. So let's talk. I got 8 players on my board. So let's talk first. On the board is Alvin Kamara, New Orleans Saints. He is right now ranked as the running back 17 in terms of ADP. Played in 13 games last year and was booming off the chain, man. 76.9%. He was great for us, man. Alvin showed that he could still be trusted, and he still got a lot of us into those fantasy football championships, including myself. Alvin was absolutely phenomenal down the stretch as well. Now moving forward once again with Derek Carr and Chris Olave. CO2, my guy. I mean, this offense should be, again, very similar in 2024. Lean on Alvin Kamara in both the run and the pass. And, I mean, again, we could see limited red zone due in part to Jamal Williams and company. Maybe we see that young running back do actually showcase his talents this year. We will see. Could we again see limited red zone upside? I do see it. It is very possible. But again, heavy PPR play here for his game will dictate a lot of terms. Not much for running back depth once again. So you do got to believe the uptrend for an Alvin Kamara is here as we go into training camp at the running back 17s. Looked explosive so far in OTAs. I think Alvin is an absolute steal ADP at running back number 17. Trend up for me right now for an Alvin Kamara. Next one, Brandon Aiyuk, man, ADP wide receiver 10, making a lot of noise, a lot of waves. Biggest news for Brandon Aiyuk right now is he's doing a lot of talking, saying that those 49ers do not want him back. And, I mean, he doesn't necessarily want to be back. He's taking phone calls from the commies quarterback and trying to do a play with Jaden Daniels once again. We'll see what's going to go down. Lots of rumor with these 49ers still actively shopping him. I mean, because not only is he looking to get paid, I mean, Aiyuk is making it known that he probably wants out of San Francisco as well, and maybe a change of scenery would do them both some good, especially since they drafted somebody like a Ricky Pearsall to change over and help aid in this wide receiver room. If he stays with San Francisco, how is this going to go in terms of, the chemistry, the mentals? Does he want to be there? Does he not? Is he going to be a locker room problem? These are all very high considerations if you're taking an Aiyuk as your wide receiver 10, man. Will he continue to ball? Will he be disgruntled? These are very big, situational things with these 49ers, but I mean, we understand. Either way, he's showing he's very talented. He's a great route runner. He can make a lot of plays. Finished last year very well. So, I mean, it's not a great start going into training camp. So, I'm going to say slight downtick for a Brandon Aiyuk just based on team dynamic and situation, not based on skill, because we already know what Aiyuk can do on the field in the NFL. So, downtick based on team situation and dynamic, definitely for me heading into training camp. Javante Williams, next one on my board. ADP right now, running back 28. And my dude, Vontae, I mean, it's an interesting situation here as well. Rumor all over the place that he could actually find himself as a straight cut candidate, cap casualty for these Denver Broncos. He finished last year as a running back 30 on a Denver offense. That was, I mean, let's be real, piss poor overall last season. I do think a change of scenery will be best for a Javante Williams. Coming back from that ACL was an issue. He did show he could handle the volume. He did look a little slower at times last season. Didn't necessarily look like himself overall last year. I still believe he's got a lot of skills. I still believe that knee will be that much better this year, and potentially, a change of scenery, like I'm saying, could be the best thing for him. Get out of Denver, find new digs, and then, keep going with your career as we continue. But, I mean, he would be picked up immediately if cut by those Denver Broncos. Do not get that twisted. I got to put him right now on the down because of situation, and we got to understand where that path is going to move forward. Is he going to be a Bronco? Is he going to be cut? How are they going to handle this? Definitely downs for me for a Javante at this point. Christian Watson, man, ADP wide receiver 41. A lot of y'all sleeping on my dude, Christian Watson. The biggest thing on Watson, we know, it's the health. Can he stay on the field? We know this. This is a problem. For me, it's based on skill. I will not quit Watson at this point because, I mean, there's just too much talent on his frame. And it's just off the chain, man. The filled with lightning wheels. Watson showed, that wide receiver one flash again last season. He did struggle with some drops, struggle with some injuries, but that catch he made, the You Got Mossed appeal in the end zone last year with Jordan Love, I'm telling y'all, man, he is a good one. He just has to stay on the field, and the consistency will be there. Speed for days, hands look good. He's able to get open. What don't you like about it, Christian Watson? I get it. It's the health, everything. Most will say Reed is going to be the dude in this offense. I understand that as well. I'm a big Reed supporter also, but this could be one of the better 1-2 punches in the NFL with a Jordan Love as he figures out his game, his continued progression. Jordan Love was one of my sleeper quarterbacks last year. Showcase that again. He's going to come back. You got to believe they're going to be that much better. But if Watson can remain on the field, he will prove he's worth every penny. And yes, I'm banking on no injuries. Yes, it's a risk, but the reward could be extremely vast. Big ups going into camp for a Christian Watson for me. Nicholas Chubb, Cleveland Brownies, ADP running back 34 right now. And the worst part of this, I love Nick Chubb. I really do. Huge supporter since his UGA days. Huge fan of Nick Chubb. He's been one of the most consistent running backs in all of fantasy football. And he's one of the best running backs to watch, to root for, based on how he plays. I don't know anybody that is not a Nick Chubb fan. You guys should be kicking yourselves if you're not. But these Browns, they're trying to stay competitive. They're trying to keep going. They need a good run game to help, a Deshaun Watson in the AFC North smash mouth style of football. The issue is Chubb is coming off that brutal ACL injury, man. That leg bent in the ways it should never bend, and it will likely stall his outlook here in 2024, which does suck. I do not like it. Chubb was on record saying he also doesn't, he took it hard mentally, this injury. That's a big problem because half of the recovery is due in part to how the players respond with their mentals. And this really sucks to say, man. It really hurts me, but it's a big downs right now heading into training camp for a Nicholas Chubby, because you got to recover from that, and we'll see how it does go. It could be a very much an off season for a Nick Chubb. I'm definitely fading him as we move forward, unless I see change in the training camp and how he's progressing. If he's going to be on the field, then we'll talk. But at this point, I got to say it's a downtrend for Nick Chubb. Next one is Ramondre Stevenson, my dude, Dre. Okay, ADP running back 20. Patriots, they're in the first stages of this rebuild with new head coach, without Bill Belichick. You understand it's going to be very interesting with Mayo. See how it does go. The Pats know it's an important piece to surround your quarterbacks, your youthful quarterbacks, with a great run game. And yes, Ramondre Stevenson, we know he's one of these dudes that can handle heavy workload and heavy volume. He is a PPR guy, catches a lot of passes from the backfield. The issue was last year he found his way into the medical room far too often. The high ankle sprain did alleviate, a lot of point totals that we were expecting from a Ramondre Stevenson. Team with the lesser targets in the pass game, just all a recipe for disappointment last season. Overall for Dre was not good, but the positive, signing that big contract, does show trust in Dre that they want to utilize him as the bell cow back for these young quarterbacks, whether it be a Drake May, whether it be Jacoby Brissett. I know he's not young, but he could be the starter, or is it going to be Joe Milton? We'll see how it does go, because they added competition in this quarterback room to hopefully see if one can rise to the top. And for one, I'm all in on a Ramondre. The value to return on investment, once again, I'm willing to do it. He was a little higher last year, which is why some people are sour right now. I am not. Trend up for Dre. Newly signed contract. You got to believe he's going to play and get a lot of volume to be trusted from this coaching staff in New England. Next one is Josh Downs. Okay, you guys know, if you followed me for some time now, you know I'm a huge supporter of Downs. Always down for Downs. But now he's got competition now. That's the deal. That's the real deal we're dealing with right now with Josh Downs. He is the ADP wide receiver 57, as we said today, and it's justifiable. The Colts drafted themselves an AD Mitchell, which is great for A-Rich and this club overall, but now you got yourselves Michael Pittman, you got AD, you got yourself Jonathan Taylor, and now you got Josh Downs. I guess that's the biggest question mark, can Anthony Richardson support all of these wide receivers to high-end point productivity? We shall see. It does feel like it does give a big hit for Downs. That sucks for me because I love his game. I think he's a great, talented wide receiver, being that trusted slot guy with those wheels, having the opportunity I mean, will he have his opportunity? I guess I should say it that way. But can we trust him in fantasy football week to week? This is a big problem for me. I don't think we will be able to, maybe early on, but as A.D. Mitchell starts to get his feet wet, if he is going to be the wide receiver, I believe he's going to be. I mean, it's tough to say for a Josh Downs. I love how this Colts are building right now, the potential for 2024 and thereafter with an Anthony Richardson, with this run game, with all these youthful, talented wide receivers. It's amazing how they're building. But as of today, I'm sad because I got to say, slight downtick for Downs. I don't like it. It sucks. But I'm still a big supporter. Love me some Josh Downs, but on the downtrend as we enter training camp, no question. Last one I got is A.T. Perry, ADP wide receiver 88. So way down this board, we got to find some gems as we're moving. Can he be drafted? Probably not. He's likely a waiver wire selection in your fantasy football leagues as we move forward. But I do not hate drafting him with your last pick, depending on situation, depending on how your draft board does fall. Okay, A.T. Perry for the Saints. While I am, you guys know, I'm a huge CO2 supporter. Chris Olave is my dude. He was the best wide receiver coming out of that class with Garrett Wilson, no question, and I love me some CO2. I think he's going to have an absolute stellar season, but the biggest issue is the Saints really require someone to step up as that secondary wide receiver piece in this offense for Derek Carr, potentially for a Spencer Rattler, who also is, apparently turning heads in those OTAs, so watch out for Spencer. Don't diss my dude Spencer. I'm still a big Rattler supporter as well. But I mean, they do got Shaheed, and Shaheed is this guy who's going to rise to be that secondary piece. Shaheed's got the wheels, while A.T. Perry is, that potential red zone help, chain mover, a.k.a. Michael Thomas role type of situation. You definitely could see that. That's where they missed out a big time last year, where they were trying to be, Alvin Kamara and CO2, but I mean, there was no real supportive pieces for this offense. Targets will need to increase greatly for Perry to be that guy. But, I mean, the potential is definitely here, man. High, for 55, 60 receptions, 6 to 8 touchdowns if they utilize Perry this way. I am a big Perry supporter. I like his game a lot. I think that there is a lot of untapped potential. And for the wide receiver 92 rank, I mean, really? You kidding me with this? I mean, very low risk for me for your fantasy football team. But like I said, you're probably going to get him off the waiver wire. You're going to have to pay dollars. If you want to risk it in your draft with your last overall pick, Perry is definitely not one of these guys I'm overlooking, because I think there is potential value here as well. The returns really could bring, weekly flex, gameplay specific options for your team. But trend up for me for A.T. Perry as we're heading into camp, because I am a big fan. Okay, we're hedging a lot on Derek Carr doing something spectacular, but I do like A.T. Perry overall as a wide receiver, and I think there is a lot of potential. But there you have it. That is trending players as we are entering training camp very soon. I mean, over the next couple weeks here, we will be seeing training camps open up. So trending players, understanding where these guys reside right now is very important. It's very fluid right now as we are getting into summer, and it will change. But that's how I see these gentlemen today. It is interesting, especially for y'all best ball players. You're doing a lot of best ball drafts early to get those values. I'm telling y'all, a lot of these guys do have the good trends. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts. You in, you out on these guys, throw it in the comments. We can talk it out. But we'll see you next time. I am out.